Welcome back to Breakfast Television. It is back to school season, which also means it is the start of viral season. To help us try to keep those kids as healthy as possible is pediatrician Dr. Sarah Hall. Good morning to you.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
It is the start of the school year.
It's the start of the school year, which is so exciting.
Viral season. It is very exciting, but yes, it just means that all these little kids are in a room together. So what does this mean when it comes to infectious diseases? What do you see at the start of the school year?
So in the next few weeks, we're going to start to see the common little fall bugs. One of them is Coxsackie, which causes hand, foot, and mouth disease. We're used to seeing it at the children's, but it's usually you can get ulcers in the mouth, little red dots on the palms of your hands and soles of your feet, and you don't necessarily have to get all three of them together.
Okay.
But that makes it easy for us to diagnose.
Sure.
You can even just get one or the other, or just generalized feelings of not well.
Right.
But that's a common one.
Right. And it's so contagious, right? That one.
So contagious. It's all spread by secretions.
Oh, so what does that mean in a classroom setting?
Which means hand washing becomes really important.
Right. Okay.
Another common one is parainfluenza, and that causes croup.
Oh.
So parents all know that sound of that croupy, barky cough.
Yeah, it's
that
scary,
tends to get worse
actually.
at night.
Yeah.
And actually can be really scary at night.
Yeah.
I've had many a night sitting on a front porch, wrapped in a blanket, holding a kid, because that cold air tends to make the inflammation abate a bit, just to make it easier for kids to breathe.
Okay. And again, same sort of thing. That's where you wanted to do the hand washing, because it gets transmitted that same way.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about really the importance of this hygiene for kids.
So when you get a whole bunch of kids together in a classroom, it's hard not to transmit whatever anybody's carrying. They don't even necessarily have to be sick. They could be coming down with something or getting over something, or just being a carrier. But hand washing before eating, and hand washing can be soap and water.
Right.
But it can, on a more easier level, can actually just be hand sanitizer. It's quicker, it's very effective.
Right.
So before you eat, before your hands go to your mouth, at the end of school, a little hand washing can help.
Right. What do you think of those little hand sanitizers that you can attach to the lunch kits?
I think it's a great idea, and kids get into the habit of doing it.
Right, right.
I think it's a great idea.
That's a good idea. Okay, so make sure that they're really doing this hand washing, and it's probably good to show them actually how to do it, because I know I've had to actually remind my little guy many, many times what it looks like to wash your hands properly.
It's true. It's actually hard to teach them.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of little crevices and places to go that little things can hide.
Yes.
So definitely going over technique. In fact, all three of mine, I wouldn't necessarily are great hand washers. I have to watch and police them.
Yes, okay, so go over that hand washing technique. Okay, that's a good one. Now let's talk about medications that have to live at school. Okay, so a lot of kids are going to school and they have chronic diseases.
Yeah, so now is a really good time to get those medications in order, getting your prescription filled, going into this school year. Sometimes schools give out forms that need some instructions on how to give medications and what reasons to give medications. We're used to seeing those forms across our desk at this time of year, so if you happen to need those to get filled out, now's a really good time. But then topping up on medications, making sure there's puffs in your puffer.
Right.
Making sure you've got new EpiPens because they expire every year.
Right.
And that you've got enough for the car, the backpack, the other spouse's house, whatever that happens to be.
Right, right, right. And you also mentioned it's really useful at this time of year to sit down with the new teacher and outline, okay, my child has asthma or type 1 diabetes or whatever the case may be.
Teachers can get really nervous about having these kids that come into their classrooms with these chronic health conditions and not really knowing how worried to be. Management of asthma, recognition of low blood glucose and what to do. So just sitting down with your teacher can develop a bit of a partnership and can definitely relay a bit of fears.
Right, right, and make everybody feel a little bit comfortable, including mom and dad when they send their kids off, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's terrific. We're out of time, but thank you so much again, Dr. Hall, for being here. We're going to go for a break here on Breakfast Television. When we come back, we've got news, weather, and traffic.